meditation also. Good day, my friends. Long time no see. And what brought me today to my channel? Just a reflection on a very interesting situation. Uh, Many people want to create something that was never before they feel was created, existed, or it was created but didn't work for some reason, so they try. It's our creative nature. We want to make something that we are lacking in our day life, in our life. And one such thing is sometimes we feel like we lack meaningful conversation, meaningful relationships, the space that allows us to be ourselves, whatever it might mean. And it's about freedom. We want to create free space for ourselves to be. While we exist in society, we follow the rules. We are boxed in limitations of traditions, expectations, law, many limitations or many directions that we are formed in. And so we feel this desire to be in a space that everything is allowed, that we don't need to control anything in ourselves, in our expression. And you can do it anywhere, but you will be judged. And usually we are striving for something that you can express yourself, but you will not be judged. And you will be supported and admitted and accepted as you are. And it's quite a utopian idea, as I see by my experience. But nevertheless, it's a dream, and it's ideal that we are guided by. And it's good it exists, this ideal. We know where to go to create this utopian for now, but the hope that it will be created some time in the future gives us a purpose for life sometimes, right? So we have it. We have this creative desire to create this space of non-judgmental self-expression, of being ourselves, yet being with others, which is very important, because you can be yourself when you're alone, but nobody knows that you can do it. You know, you want a witness of your life. And so I wanted to experience this, and I saw this new emerging group of people that want to create this space of acceptance, soulmates, and where everybody would feel at home. Sounds great, but even in the chat that was created to organize the event, people were triggered by some words that I shared in a best meant way. I think lack of education and some personal trauma triggered their inadequate perception of the world, and they were triggered. My comment was deleted, and I was asked, like in big, very polite way, to behave, basically. So me going to that group is already making some adjustments to my freedom of expression, to me, being less me, in order to fit in a group of people who are traumatized by something that they couldn't clarify what I said in a chat, to resolve their conflict with this word that I used. And it's not a bad word. It's a word anarchy, which is by the idea of Piotr Kropotkin, that there is no unified governing body, that there are communities of conscious individuals that operate by themselves. It's a beautiful idea. It's a utopia. And for me, this community was a field. They wanted to create something like this without a leader, but people are communicating by themselves. And for me, knowing these theories from sociology, from political science, from psychology that I learned, and knowing about those theories, of course, I wanted to recreate them in real life, and I tried, and I didn't succeed. And that's why this community it looks very intriguing to me. I want to see if it works in their execution. But before this first meeting, I was told to be less me. So it already doesn't work the way they wanted to create it, or they wanted to create something different that they told everybody that they wanted to create. So it's kind of misleading advertisement or marketing that didn't work. But anyway, it was the intro story, but I wanted to share something that we discussed with my friend. My friend is my generation, my age, and my territorial kind of, we were raised in USSR in 80s, 90s, and my hypothesis why I could share all my ideas with her and this community of younger people couldn't accept or couldn't understand, were triggered by my word, is that we were raised in a time where there was a break from USSR with strict lines of behavior, which is accepted, which is promoted, which is supported. Then the change to a new Russia, and a lot of changes, mental, behavioral, societal, a lot of changes, and the stress of those changes were on our parents, not us. But we got only the best part. We saw how it was before, how it's now, how it will be. And now I see that new generation born 90s and later, the kind of, maybe the new generation is not like that, but 90s and maybe 2000, they are raised in this kind of sun house, or like special conditions of political correctness rather than honesty. They cannot handle honesty. It's like their boundaries are not healthy made, but artificially constructed, and then something different from what they know and what they are comfortable with, something happens and they're triggered. Something new is something fearful, scary, and they are constantly in defensive mode. And because their lives are easy comparing to what happened with USSR and break and the change of ideas. And for us, honesty and open speech is something like precious, something that even if it's hard to hear something, it's still free speech, which is basis for freedom. And freedom is not limited by freedom of others, I think, but freedom is limited by our traumas, what we are triggered with, what we think is dangerous. Sometimes it is not dangerous, but because of personal experience which is not lived through, we consider it as dangerous and we defend and we want to stop communicating with those people. Another alternative, just ask those people what did they mean, what their purpose of saying was. Like, ask questions. Nothing wrong with asking questions. Like, I work on asking questions. I'm a coach. I ask questions all the time. It's the best way of communication. Ask questions. Don't make assumptions. Our brain is so messed up sometimes. We are all raised with some traumas, big or small. We all have this blocked energy with us. And asking questions is the way of healing ourselves. You were terrified with something, ask question. What did you mean? If you are not comfortable with not enough information to make your decision safe situation for you or not safe, ask questions. And you will feel with your body, with enough information, what you should do. So this is quite interesting. I wanted to share that political correctness, and it's not only in politics, right? It's in human communication. Political correctness and avoidance of conflict makes the person who exercises those approaches miserable. It's not too big word here. It's miserable existence of preserving your artificial peace or your identity of something that's so easily triggered. Why do you need this kind of identity? And I think the new generation exercise their freedom by how it's in English, coarse language. I never use it, and yet maybe because of it, my other words, just normal words, are so powerful. I use normal words in the meaning to make the bold statement or like raise my voice, kind of in language. And for new generations, yes, they are so triggered by ordinary words or concepts they don't understand, but they are so free in their expression using a coarse language. Like, really? Something is quite sick here, guys. But we live together. We learn from each other. And it's quite intriguing to observe different people with different experiences, different way of raising, different way of preserving their identities. Me too, I preserve my identities. I felt my boundaries were challenged because of other person's trauma. I cannot express myself the way I express myself. I don't use coarse language. I don't blame anybody. I don't name anybody bad words, like, no, but people still get something for themselves to be scary in my words. Incredible. But that what fascinates me in human nature, really, so much in each of us, and we are so unique, and that's why we should ask questions. Don't make assumptions. Assumptions is just your viewpoint. If you want to understand another person, you have to ask questions and listen what they say, not just because you want to continue asking questions and make assumptions, but listen what they say, to ask more, to understand them, to reveal this unique human uh, being, just to enjoy our uniqueness as a whole humanity. Thank you. How to stop?